Hello, welcome back to Good Germs Off-Road Adventures. Obviously, as you can tell, we're back out in the desert. We're somewhere north of Barstow, close to Fort Irwin, place we usually come quite a bit. And you can see I've got Darth and Dusty back there. Massimo, we're flying the flags for you. I know you'd like to see that. We're just out here doing some adventure, and I've got Kyle with us this weekend. It's just me and Kyle. That is my oldest daughter's boyfriend, and he's never been out here before. There's a fly buzzing around and it's kind of annoying. Anyway, so we're just out here showing him some things that he's never seen before, and I like riding out here because it's a lot of wide open riding, exploring, and adventuring. Now, truth be told, we rode yesterday. We actually got here yesterday morning, yesterday being Friday, and didn't do any filming. And the reason for that is because it was about 40-mile-an-hour winds, and it is nearly impossible to do any sort of filming when it's that windy. So we just went out for a nice ride, did about 34 or so miles, went and saw some things, rode on a couple of trails that I've never been on before. Did have the trails of the Mojave camera running, so we'll have some of that footage at least from that ride yesterday. Today's plan, we're going to head in a that way direction, you know, kind of there. We're going to make a loop that goes over through Coyote Gulch and up through Black Mountain. We're going to go see the petroglyphs, the Indian rock circles. We may or may not go to Husky Monument. I haven't decided that. I think when we get to the point where we are going to decide if we're going to do that or not, we'll decide if we're going to do that or not. Does that make sense? Whatever. We'll know when we get there, and I'll tell you all about it then. And then we'll make a loop back around across Superior Dry Lake and then back up to, camp. Should be somewhere around a 3-4 hour ride. Should be pretty nice. We'll probably log somewhere between 65 and 75 miles in total, if I had to guess. So should be good. Couple of updates. The clutch on Darth seems to still be doing well. I know there was some interest in that, and it seems to still be doing clutch things as it's supposed to do. But I hit a rock yesterday, and you can tell I hit a rock because, well, some of it is still there. Yeah, I didn't hit it hard. Took a little chunk out of it. I looked away at something. I looked in the mirror. We'll come back to the mirrors. Looked in the mirror to make sure that Kyle was still behind me, and then I looked down and there was a big rock in front of me. Hit the brakes, slid, bink, right into the rock. That's okay. I said ow because it scared me. Didn't hurt me, but that's the natural reaction when you get scared. You just say ow. So right after Mammoth, I did do an upgrade to Darth. I mentioned it in one of the two Mammoth videos. That's a two-parter. First part, as of the filming of this video, is already live a couple days ago. The second part, I think I mentioned it, I should get mirrors, because twisting around to see where the next rider is behind me, it's not always easy, and it's distracting if you're trying to ride at the same time and you're looking backwards. Also, that particular day, my neck had a little kink in it, so it kind of hurt to turn my head a little bit. Look, folks, it's just getting old. What are you going to do? Anyway, so I put mirrors on it, and I was going to put the Polaris brand mirrors on it, the ones that are the newer style, but they're like $120 or something like that dollars. So I decided not to. This is what I put. I put these mirrors on, and they don't look terrible. They sort of match the style of the vehicle, not too shabby. They're Kimimoto. Yes, I know where they're made. All right, but so the Polaris ones are made there too, so it's fine. But these are like $25 or $26, and they work pretty good. Look, I can stand back here. We can see the mirrors. You can see me in both mirrors. Oh, that's frightening. Anyway, they work pretty good. They've got a little bit of a wide angle on them, so you can see pretty clearly behind you. And I thought they were going to vibrate quite a bit, because as you know, Polaris's Polarisi, whatever the plural for Polarises. You know, they tend to vibrate a bit. So I thought the mirrors were going to be vibrating and they would be blurry and all that, but I was pleasantly and happily surprised that they don't, and I can see clearly behind me. So anyway, like I said, we're just getting ready to go on a nice big ride today. I'll introduce you to Kyle a little later on. He's inside making lunch for us to take on the trail, but I'll introduce y'all to him at some point. In the meantime, I guess we'll just keep getting ready. I've already put gas. Yep, I did gas. Cameras are all set. Yeah, I think from here we're just going to get ready and get to scooting. Okay. Off we go. Off we go. That was weird, viewers. I don't know what happened right there. The quads are due for maintenance. They're flashing the thing at me. They're due for maintenance. They're actually slightly overdue for maintenance, so I got to get to that pretty quickly. Probably after this weekend I'll get into it, and there could be junk in the fuel filter, I don't know, but we'll figure all that out. So let me tell y'all, last night was it was an adventure in wind. By the time we got back to the trailer, by the time we even went on our ride, it was windy. We were sitting inside the trailer and it was just moving. Not comfortable at all. Did not sleep too well, because that's what happens when it's windy. I don't like to sleep. There was no way it could film, like I said earlier. Impossible. So I just decided I would film today. To take a couple of photographs. Maybe I'll display those now. We went, earlier this year, we went on exploring some history and trying to find some things. Found the Spanish Arrastra with a mine with some tracks. We went over there. Took no photographs of that, oddly. And lost my train of thought. It was a left turn here. Oh yeah, decided to keep going in that direction instead of turning around, and took some trails I'd never been on before, and ended up going down in the canyons down by old Starbright mine. Looked at an ore bin, took some photographs there. Went to the old tin shack location. Did not take any photographs there because I've got plenty of photographs and video of being there before. Really a shame about Tin Shack. It was a pretty cool little cabin out there that somebody felt the need to absolutely destroy some years ago. And then from there, just kept riding through the canyons, visited Wells' cabin, took a couple of photographs there, but I've got a video where we've done all those things. And then just found the long way from there back to camp. Did make a stop by Tonka Town. I'll be honest with y'all, I tried to make up some creepy story I was going to tell Kyle and get him freaked out and maybe take a night ride over there to it, but the way back brought us right to it and there's no way I could hide it, so we just stopped, hung out. But again, I didn't really take photographs there either because I've got lots of photographs, I've got it in videos, so I'll link any of those videos that have those areas down in the description. You can find them if you want. But anyway, we're riding in a westerly-ish direction, and we're going to go to Coyote Gulch, and we're going to see some petroglyphs. And at this Coyote Gulch place, there is the petroglyph that is the inspiration for our channel logo. Viewers, I mentioned to y'all the clutch has been feeling pretty good on Darth here. The one thing I've noticed is the EBS, the engine braking, has been better since I've gone in there and cleaned out whatever debris I found in there. It could be in my head. It's probably in my head, but it feels to me like it's been a little better, so I'm just going to go ahead and pretend that that's true. And here we are, Coyote Gulch. Just a quick ride. It's 2.7 miles from where we are currently camped. And as much as I would love to get off and hike up the hill there, well, don't look at me, look up there. Up there, I'm gonna get out the iPhone. It's got super zoom capabilities, and we'll view it that way. Okay, stand up. Oh, yep. Yep, I will enter my passcode. Turn it that way. Okay, here we go. Wait, was I recording earlier? Oh, I better have been. Are you kidding me? I wasn't recording. I got to do that again. I am not brilliant. All right, so I'm going to try it again. This time I'm going to push record, get her zoomed in, and here are the two rock faces again. Zoom it in, and I will point on the screen like an arrow or a circle. You can see the one that we used as the inspiration for the channel, logo. Come over to the right. There's a few more. Pretty neat. And then we're going to come over here. Like I said, there's a plaque over here. It says something. Check it out. I forgot what it said. It's been a while since I've been here. All right. Hundreds of years ago, prehistoric people chipped these petroglyphs into the nearby rocks. These designs are believed to represent their concern for natural resources and spiritual well-being. Archaeologists are in the process of photographing and recording petroglyphs in the California desert. Current studies of the pattern, placement, and location of rock art may reveal much concerning man's prehistoric behavior. For more information, please contact, and there's some things, a BLM logo, and some samples of some of the things that you might see. Okay. Anaconda, get back on the quad sometimes. Okay. All right. Put the gloves on. Put the other glove on. Yeah. Because that's what you do. Glasses are fogging up. Check the mirrors. Yep. They still do mirror things. That's fantastic. I forgot I have water. Yep. Let's turn that on. Oh, I got water all over me. Good. Our next stop will be some miles away. We'll stop and point at the place that the fertility cave is. Again, I've got a video where we explored that. I'll link that below as well. Mainly because I am definitely not up for that hike. It's really cool. Not up for the hike. So I'll just, you know what, maybe I'll include some of that footage as we're riding here. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Are you ready? Just about? Okay. All right, onward we go. All right, viewers, so down this trail, and Kyle, I suppose, down this trail, there's a lake bed, a small lake bed back there that is called Lost Lake, because you can't see it from here. You can't see it till you get almost right up on top of it. Off to the east side of that lake, there's volcanic rock hill, and at the very top of that hill, all the way to one end, that is where the fertility cave is. And I believe at this point I'm probably displaying on the screen some footage I have of that when I decided to hike up there when it was 108 degrees in the middle of the summer, because that was smart. Anyway, it's pretty neat to find that, though. I don't know, obviously, what they use the fertility cave for. I don't know if that's where the newly married, couples went. I don't know, but it's pretty neat. But it's back there. It's a nice clear sky today, probably because we had winds yesterday of 112-120 miles an hour. But very nice, pretty blue sky today. No real haze. That's nice. All right, viewers, we are coming up on our next stop, and this is one that's always surprising. Before I found a book, I've posted that book on other videos. I forgot already what it's called, but there was a book, and it talked about this place, and you can ride on this trail 100 times and never even know it's here, but yet it's literally right there. So we're gonna go check it out. Okay, so the place in question is the Indian rock circles. Like I said, I've done a video here before, but you know what does it hurt to do it again? I'm gonna leave the helmet on. We're not going to be here long. I think I mentioned it before. Nobody knows really what these were for. If they were sleep circles, they're not big enough to put the wigwams or teepees on there, but we don't really know what they were for. They've been here, we assume, for hundreds of years. I know the book that I have was written in like the 70s or 80s, and they were here. So let's check them out. And here we go. Indian rock circles. They don't look like much. It looks like anybody could have placed them, but like I said, they've been here for seemingly hundreds of years. There's these 4 here. And I thought last time I was here exploring them that I had found another one out here somewhere. But I could be wrong by that statement. Yeah, I think I'm wrong by that statement. These are visible from the Google Earth machine. You can see them if you know where to look. But yeah, pretty neat little spot. And like I said, I've got Kyle out here. This is some stuff I know he's never come out to the desert and seen before. Looks like he's hiking on over there looking for something, or he's just looking for a place to have a wee. We don't really know. Well, if it is both, then it's creepy that I'm following you, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Yeah, it's weird to me that there's those 4 right there, right next to that trail, and I don't know if during the time that they were made, the trail was even there. Right? I have no way of knowing. It may have been. You know, trails, I mentioned this in a video at Painted Desert, Petrified Forest with Brittany and Tam and Brielle. You know, Route 66, which is now pretty much Interstate 40. Before Route 66, it was National Trails Highway. Before it was National Trails Highway, it was some other trail that I can't remember the name of. And before that, it was used by wagons, and before that it was used by Indians, Native Americans, and all that. We tend to just stay on the same path unless we find a more efficient, but we tend to base everything we do on the same path. So it's entirely feasible, possible in my mind, that you've got Coyote Gulch kind of back there. Oh, there's Kyle. There he is. Back there. And then you've got the Fertility Cave sort of over there. You've got the rock circles here, and then Inscription Canyon on the other side of this, well, more than that on the other side. And also you've got Black Mountain Road and Canyon, which is more west, and we're not going to really go over there. And it's filled with petroglyphs. So it stands to reason that these trails may have existed during those times as footpaths. Yeah. Anyway, I think we're going to head back to the quads and get to. Oh, Kyle was saying that maybe there were some spots here that could have been. And I can see, you can almost see a circle of dirt undisturbed. There were rocks in here before. Yeah, and this looks like an old anthill, if I'm honest. But it looks like there's some old abandoned anthills, or maybe little holes that some vermin decided to sleep in. And you got little holes, probably got little ground squirrels or whatever that live in them. Yeah, possible. Entirely possible. We're going to head back over to the off-road vehicles and keep on heading in a northerly-ish, more or less, somewhat that way direction. Okay. Let's get back on our 570-ish cc mechanical horse here. Yep. Okay, here we go. I'm telling you, people, I like the mirrors. It's nice not to have to twist my head. I can just look in the mirror and see that, you know, dude's behind me back there. I love it. Should have done that years ago. I think, Massimo, you got mirrors on yours, on your Sportsman 570, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm jealous of yours, by the way. I don't think I've ever told you this. I'm jealous of yours because your plastic is white. Now, I like the black plastic. Don't get me wrong. I think it looks really good. But in white, it just looks spectacular, in my opinion. Anyway, I digress. Man, Opal Mountain looks fantastic in full sunlit glory. Look at that. I've never slowed down to see why we've got a fence here, but I can see a little thing. It says, no, there's a thing in the middle. Opal Spring. Maybe that's what it says, Opal Spring, on the side of that box right there. I don't know if the GoPro's getting it, but I don't know. All right, Kyle, the key to this hill is just go. But you can't go until you get to the bottom because there's a dip at the bottom. And I'm going to make a lot of dust, but it's a right at the very top. We're going to watch in the mirror and watch him come up. Oh, yeah. That's a fun little hill, isn't it? So we're gonna make a stop here at a place called Scouts Cove. Actually, this area is called Scouts Cove, but more specifically, this is a place if you felt like you wanted to get a rest and have a nap, you could do so. Oh, ow. Scouts Cove. Now, I have found words on the interwebs about what its original, like what it is, and I took a photograph of those, but it's been like 2 months, so I'm going to see if I can locate that on my telephone device and see if I can say a word or three about it. Oh, here it is. Scouts Cove, Black Mountain Wild. Yes, I know, that's where we are. Yes, 4-wheel drive, highly recommended. Yeah, I know. I thought there was history. Located in the Opal Mountains, Scouts Cove was a mining site for opals in the early 20th century. I did not know that, although the mountain over there is called Opal Mountain, so that makes sense. Financed by Tiffany Jewelry Company from New York. Well, that's interesting. There's evidence that ancient Native Americans also mined opal from this area. There are thousands of petroglyphs carved into the rocks in the area. That is true, and our next stop, we're going to go see some. The miners hand-hewn a pretty sweet shelter in the Tufa Dome near the mine, and that's what we're looking at right there, which is now regularly used by campers. You can still find bits of opal laying around on the ground as well. Well, I'm not a rock hound. We're not going to go looking for opal, but there you go. I never knew the history of it until I found it on the interwebs, and then here we are. So now we're going to go from here to Inscription Canyon. Okay. You know, knowing about some of the things that we do know about that we've seen so far, and things maybe we haven't seen, it makes me always wonder what else is out here to be discovered. Historical things. What else is there that we could discover? I've seen, or I could have sworn that there was an amphitheater somewhere in these hills in this area, like that they used maybe for storytelling. The Indians, Native Americans, ancient peoples. I don't know if it's true. I've never been able to find information on it. I read it once somewhere, and I cannot even find where I read it. But I have scoured Google Earth in this area just searching for it, and I've never found anything. But I just wonder what else is out here that I don't know about. Oh yeah, well that's a cool view. And here we are. Inscription Canyon, my friends. We're going to go walk around and see the things. All right, so let me introduce you to Kyle.
What's up, chat?
There's what's up, who?
What's up, chat?
Chat.
Yeah, chat.
It's YouTube.
There's still a chat.
True. All right. So this is Kyle. This is my oldest daughter, Brittany. This is her boyfriend. You know Brittany. We did Ballarat, the two of us. Thought we'd bring him out and have some fun, but we're going to go in here and we're going to explore Inscription Canyon. Ooh, the hip is mad. It's all right. Walk it off. Good to go. Unfortunately, some people have come and vandalized in here, and you can see their names. They're not very brilliant. They actually write their names so the spirits of the Native Americans can haunt them for the rest of their lives. I'd like to believe that's what happens. Anyway, is a thing. You take stuff from Bodie, there's like a curse there. Even the park rangers will tell you all about it. There's,
Don't touch this stuff.
I mean, just don't take it away.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff is harder to see. You know, you got some there. Thankfully, the iPhone camera is doing pretty nicely. I just hope it doesn't overheat. It's only about 65 degrees, but you know, iPhones, they like to overheat at the sign of, I don't know, the sun. Okay. The only thing that really kind of creeps me out about the canyon is when we get further up, you can tell that there are animal dens. Oh. And I'm always afraid that whatever lives in those dens is going to come out and get me. And I don't want them to. Never happened before, but I am afraid of it. Here we go. There's some more sort of there. This is cool because there's a depiction of a ram there. And I've never seen a ram or a bighorn sheep in this area, but I have in Lucerne, and that was one of the biggest shocks ever. I've got video of it. Tam, the wife, and I were out riding, and I had the cameras pointing forward, and he ran across the trail right in front of us. It was scary and cool all at the same time. He was big. There's a couple more right there. Yeah, you can see, like right back in here, that's got to be some sort of animal den, right? Coyote, maybe?
It's pretty small for a coyote.
Maybe bobcat. I don't think we have mountain lions out here, or at least these days. But you can see under a lot of these big rocks, there's dens, and there's some more further up. So it's always got me on an edge a little bit the further back we get. There's some lines here. I'm also watching out for snakes. I don't really want to get eaten by one of those either. It's pretty neat. What a great day for doing this. Minimal to no wind, nice moderate temperature. It makes coming out here in gale force winds yesterday worth it. I've already forgotten how horrible it was because that was now yesterday, and I've sort of slept since then. Some more cool ones. Every time I come, I like to try to look at one side as I go up canyon, and then the other side as I come down, because otherwise head's on a swivel and I can't see everything. There's some more. What does that mean? Right there. Right there. What does that mean? I don't know. See, there's another animal den right there. Colleen and JR, you've been cursed in my mind. Yep. These areas are thought to be sacred. They probably are sacred, and they're telling stories on the rocks. They're trying to tell us about their lives. They're trying to tell each other about whatever things they see. So these are important places. I don't know. There's a big animal den right there.
Yeah.
That's a big one. Somebody lives in there. And that's the stuff that freaks me out up here. Oh, Kyle's brave. Good. Over here, there's some that are carved in that they're no longer white, but we can make out the shapes of them. We've got some circles and whatever that is. I don't know how many more. I've never walked this far back. Let's keep going. Is there any more back here? I'm not really seeing any this far back. Oh, no, maybe over there. It almost looks like there could be something there, but I don't know. I don't really see any more this direction. Well, we can walk back down and we can see them on this side. I'm glad I walked this far back, which I never do, because I am seeing some that I have never seen before. Let's not fall down. Watch where you're putting your feet. First off, there's this thing that somebody apparently drew an R next to, or maybe not, I don't know, but there's that. Is that an alien? Could be. There was probably aliens out here at some point. Believe what you want. Anyway, what else do we have? See, there's some here on the wall. Can I get a certain angle so they actually show up? They're very sun bleached. Maybe I can color edit this when I go to edit the video, and then they'll come out. There's a thing there. Pretty neat. I like it. Oh, here's some more on the back side of this I didn't know was here. You can see we've got another circle thing and some more patterns here. And modern day graffiti there. That's a bummer. However, that looks to be not graffiti. It looks to be what kind of stuff we're looking for. And then there's, looks like some more back here. Yeah, I've never walked up this far. I'm not going to try to walk over those boulders. That's going to hurt. There are flies in this canyon. And I do remember there being flies in this little canyon. They're aggressive. No. I've not gotten these before. Like I said, I've always stopped kind of where those rock ledges are.
Yeah.
Every time. So I didn't know that wall of modern graffiti was there. So I've never walked this far. I don't know why. Probably I was too scared of those caves or those dens. These I've seen. That bush, that little piece of a twig bush right there, it moved. Scared the you-know-what out of me. All right, I'm alive. We're good. Here's a mixture of Native American art and modern day graffiti, which I guess you could call the Native American art graffiti, but they're actually trying to tell a story. Our modern day friends are just trying to be graffitious. Is that a word? Graffitious? I don't know. We'll pretend it's a word. Look, folks, I wear bifocals. That means in order to see where I'm walking, I have to literally do that. Or that happens and I just almost fall. Yeah. Kyle said something about being careful. I'm trying. I just can't see nothing where my feet are.
I was just repeating what you said.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Back to the rock art. I wish we knew what all of these things, mean, what they are. I know that we assume we know some of them, but we really don't. We just have to assume. The sun's kind of glaring on this one. I have probably photographs of this one here. Then they've got this one down here. I can zoom into that one. I can actually hear crickets, and it's weird. Folks, the iPhone is doing iPhone things, which means it's starting to get hot. So from here on out, the screen's dark, and we're just going to have to assume that we are recording the things that I think I'm recording. A whole bunch of artworks from our ancient friends. It's kind of interesting back there. What is that, do you reckon? Is that depicting a star with an arrow? I don't know. It's interesting.
It's a coordinate plane for 3 dimensions.
Look, in many ways, we know that they were smarter than us.
Right.
So, I don't know. Oh, here's a good one of the ram. Yeah, this one here of the ram is fantastic. What else? And there's some good ones over here, which makes me think that there in fact was aliens. I'll show you in a moment. Those are pretty neat right there. But I come over here and some of these, like, what are they trying to say? I think they're trying to say those beings there came in that spaceship and landed or something. Obviously, I'm making that up, but they're trying to tell us something. I just wish I knew what it was. It's super cool. I always feel thankful that that these people put this here, and then it's still here for us to see it and try to understand our past, or the past of the area, whatever. I'm just going to start rambling now and say a lot of stupid things. Okay, we're getting close to the end of the canyon, but I know that there's some more stuff to see up here at the mouth of the canyon. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
A little bit of a breeze picking up. Hoping this not so good microphone doesn't let me down. I guess we'll find out later. And the screen's hard to see because it's dark, but I'm going to do my best. There's some cool stuff here. So that back there, is that a snake? Or is that depicting a wash, river? What is that? I don't know. Anybody knows? Put it in the comments down at the bottom where you're allowed to type things. I'll read those comments and appreciate and thank you for making those comments. Well, there's some right there. Super cool. Well, folks, that's pretty much it for Inscription Canyon. I think what we're going to do is change on some GoPro batteries. Hopefully the wind isn't messing with the sound right now, but we're going to change up on some GoPro batteries. And we're doing really good on time. I'm thinking we're going to go hit Husky Monument. All right, folks, as we leave Inscription Canyon behind, we're going to mosey and find our way on over to Husky Monument. Some people will call it Husky Memorial. Either way, we're going to go see it. Not going to lie, it feels good to get a little bit of air coming back on to the body here. All right, folks. So I had to take a minute, walk around a bit. I know I didn't say anything as we came up to it. I couldn't. It's been a minute since I've been here. And for me, this place is very powerful. So, riding up to it, really couldn't talk. And the place just keeps on growing. There are so many new faces out here. Let's not forget Jim Erickson, whose wife started all this in the late 80s with the single Husqvarna pretty much in the middle. Yeah. Anyway, I said it in my last video. I'll link that video down in the description. Check it out. I said in that video, when it's my time, this is where I want to be remembered. And then, of course, we have to remember Nick Blanchett, good friend, fellow desert racer, and off-roader. Was taken from us way too early. Anyway, there's some new things that are here that weren't here the last time I was here, and I think that was like December of 2023, and this is whatever month this is. This is October of 25. There's a fireplace here by the bench. That's kind of new. Of course, the Marine made out of muffler pipe and steel and parts is still there, saluting everybody. But there's a very big totem here that was not here last time. We'll go check that out. So there's our soldier keeping watch. And then check out the totem. I guess you call it a totem. This thing is really neat. And then an amazing eagle at the top. And this is for a guy named Keith Nelson. On this side it says Keith Pops Nelson. On this side though it says something slightly different. It says John Papa Juan Nelson. Nelson and Nelson Racing Off-Road Champions, it says. I don't know if this is a memorial for both of them or not. I tend to think it probably is. Anyway, like the bench over there says, we're gonna rest, remember them, then get on the gas. But before we get on the gas, we're actually gonna have some lunch. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. All right, folks, we've done as the bench has instructed. We've rested. We've remembered. We ate lunch. And we're going to get on the gas and head back to camp. The ride back to camp, I don't know how many miles it's going to be. We've done almost 29 miles to get here. It's pretty much up this road, up the next road, make a right, down another road, and that's pretty much it. Gonna cross Superior Lake Bed. That's pretty neat. What's also neat is the sun is at our back. Last night when we were out on our ride coming back, it was getting on the evening time and the sun was trying to set and it was getting cold and it was windy and the sun was in our face. Couldn't see anything and had to climb hills and on trails that weren't very friendly and could not see anything. So it'll be nice to have the sun to the back so we can see where we're going. Yeah, ba da ba da bum. La da 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 dum ba da dee ba dee ba dum. Play ba 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 da 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 dum. Play da 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 ba ba do. Ooh, slow down. Haha. Yes. That right turn is a doozy. This is one of my favorite trails, one of them, because it's not overly bumpy, it's not whooped out, and it's got a lot of really cool turns and drops and dips. It's a lot of fun. If you want to go fast, though, you have to be afraid, a little bit not afraid, to clobber some bushes with your hands. That's why we have hand guards. Now we're coming up to my absolute favorite section. Yup. I have to do something very childish. I'll explain later. Viewers, I'm sorry for that outburst of childishness. Childishness. I've got a friend, Ben, if you're watching. I've got a friend who has been dying to see me do some donuts on the ATV here. So, Ben, that was for your benefit. Well, good morning. It is officially tomorrow morning. Well, it would be tomorrow morning if it was yesterday, but now it's today, so I guess it's this morning. It's officially Sunday morning, and you know what that means. That means it's packing up and going home day. We had a pretty good bit adventuring yesterday. Made the trip out to Coyote Gulch, stopped there, looked at the Indian rock circles, then we went up to Inscription Canyon. Honestly, that ride from here only took about 45 minutes with the couple of stops to get to Inscription Canyon. I'm used to it taking a bit longer, so that was actually a pretty good time. So made the decision to go from there and get all the way over to Husky Memorial. Was moved by that place once again, as always. Visited an old friend and came back. About 4.5 hours total. Total ride distance around about 58 miles. So pretty good day riding. Weather yesterday was fantastic. Clear blue skies, no haze, and it is still, you know, quite gorgeous this morning. I want to thank you all for hanging out with us. We had a great time. Hope you did too. I guess that'll do it. If you wouldn't mind, like, subscribe, share, comment, you know, all the fun things that come with watching videos. But y'all ride safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye now.